Are you aware that at this very moment, countless retirees are walking away from Social Security money they've fully earned? Not because they made mistakes, but simply because no one ever explained the rules to them. I'm talking about strategies that are written directly into the Social Security guidelines, legal, legitimate, and completely accessible to you today. But the SSA won't mail you a handbook about it. Your workplace never covered it. And the majority of financial professionals only bring it up once you're already a paying client. Starting right now, that's going to be different. I'm going to break down 5 under-the-radar Social Security strategies that most retirees never take advantage of, and I'm asking you to stick around through all 5, because strategy number 4 is consistently the one that leaves people speechless. It's the kind of information that financial advisors charge several $100s per session just to walk you through. And you're receiving it right here, right now, at absolutely no cost, so grab something to write with, find a comfortable seat, and let's dive straight in. Before we get into the strategies themselves, there's something critical I need you to understand. Something the majority of people don't discover until the opportunity has already passed them by. Social Security is not a fixed, unchangeable amount. Most people picture it as a straightforward government payment. You spent years working, you paid into the system, and when retirement arrives, your check shows up. Easy, predictable, done. But that picture is completely inaccurate. The monthly amount you receive and the total you accumulate over your entire retirement can swing by $50,000, $100,000, or even $200,000 or beyond, all depending on the choices you make. Choices about when you decide to file, choices about how you coordinate your timing with your spouse, choices about whether you take the time to verify your records for mistakes. These are choices that most people rush through without proper guidance and without fully grasping the long-term consequences. And here's what you really need to understand. The Social Security Administration is handling millions of claims at any given time. They are not actively searching for ways to ensure you receive every dollar you're owed. That's simply not their function. Their function is to process whatever you submit. So if you don't know what options are available to you, you'll leave money behind every single month without even realizing it. That's exactly what today's conversation is designed to prevent. Let's make sure you're not one of those people. Strategy number 1, the restricted application approach for married couples. This first strategy ranks among the most powerful tools available to retirees. And because of a regulation adjustment that happened in 2015, it's only accessible to a narrow group of individuals. So pay close attention right now, because if this applies to your situation, it could put thousands of additional dollars in your pocket. Here's the background. Throughout much of Social Security's history, married couples had access to a strategy that combined something called file and suspend with something known as a restricted application. The regulations shifted in 2016 and removed most of this option. But one important component was kept intact for individuals who were already close to retirement when the changes took effect. Specifically, if you were born on or before January 1st, 1954, you may still qualify to submit what is known as a restricted application for spousal benefits only. Here's how it actually functions. Rather than claiming your own Social Security benefit, you submit a restricted application to collect only the spousal amount you're entitled to, based on your partner's earnings record. Meanwhile, your personal benefit keeps growing in the background. For every year you hold off past your full retirement age, your own benefit increases by 8% annually, right up until you reach age 70. So you're bringing in some income through the spousal benefit, while your own amount quietly builds in the background. Then when you turn 70, you switch over to your own now considerably larger benefit. For this to work, your spouse must already be receiving their own Social Security payments. And once again, you must have been born on or before January 1st, 1954. If that describes you, this is absolutely not something to put off. Contact the Social Security Administration directly and use these precise words. I would like to file a restricted application for spousal benefits only. Those exact words matter. Some SSA representatives may not be well versed in this particular option. Stay courteous, stay persistent, and if necessary, request to speak with a supervisor. This is a genuine option. It exists within the official rules. You are fully entitled to it. The difference in total lifetime benefits for couples who execute this strategy correctly can reach $30,000, $50,000, or even more. It's one of the most valuable moves in the entire Social Security playbook, and the eligibility window is shrinking as fewer people continue to meet the birth date requirement. Strategy number 2, suspend your benefits even after you've already started collecting. This one catches people off guard almost every single time. Most retirees assume that once they begin receiving Social Security payments, the decision is permanent. The door is shut. You're locked in for good. That assumption is completely wrong. If you are currently receiving Social Security payments and you have not yet turned 70, you have the ability to voluntarily put your benefits on hold. This is commonly referred to as a voluntary suspension, and it is a real, legitimate option that's sitting there waiting for you right now. Here's the reasoning behind doing it. Every month, your benefits remain suspended, your payment amount increases. More precisely, it grows by roughly 0.2% each month, which adds up to 8% over the course of a year. These increases are called delayed retirement credits. So let's walk through a realistic scenario. Suppose you began collecting at age 62, because that's when you needed the income. Circumstances have since shifted. Perhaps your health has improved, perhaps your spouse is still employed, perhaps you've picked up some part-time work. If you suspend your benefits now at, let's say, age 66, and then restart them when you reach 70, your monthly payment at 70 will be considerably higher than it would have been had you simply continued collecting all along. Now, there is one essential factor you must understand before proceeding. While your benefits are suspended, any payments being made to family members based on your earnings record, such as a spousal benefit, will also be suspended during that same period. So you absolutely need to account for that before making any decisions. But for the right individual in the right set of circumstances, this is a genuinely powerful financial tool. And the fact that the overwhelming majority of retirees don't even know it's available is precisely why so many of them are receiving less each month than they rightfully should be. If you believe this option might be relevant to you, reach out to the SSA directly or visit ssa.gov and research voluntary suspension. The key eligibility requirement is that you must be at or past your full retirement age, which falls at either 66 or 67 depending on your birth year, and you must still be under age 70. Strategy number 3. The do-over. Withdraw your claim and refile within 12 months. This strategy is distinct from the suspension option we just covered, and it comes with a very strict and unforgiving deadline. So if your situation lines up with this one, you need to take action without delay. Here's the scenario. Maybe you filed for Social Security recently. Maybe you filed at 62 because you believed it was necessary, or because someone recommended it, or simply because you weren't fully aware of the alternatives available to you. And now you're asking yourself what would have happened if you had waited longer. Here is what most people never find out. The Social Security Administration gives you the ability to withdraw your claim within 12 months of when you first became entitled to benefits. That's 12 months from the date of your very first payment, not 12 months from today. If you successfully withdraw within that window, it's treated as though you never filed at all. Your benefit amount resets entirely. You return every dollar you received. Yes, every single one. And from that point forward, you are treated as though you never submitted a claim in the first place. When you refile later at an older age, you receive the higher benefit associated with that age. Now, I already know the question forming in your mind. Give it all back? That sounds like a serious burden, and admittedly, it is. But here's the calculation you actually need to examine. If filing at 62 gives you $1,400 per month and holding off until 67 gives you $2,000 per month, the gap is $600 monthly or $7,200 every year. If you repay 12 months of benefits, approximately $16,800, you reach your break-even point in under 3 years. And every dollar that comes in after that point is completely pure financial gain. For someone in good health who expects to live well into their 80s or beyond, this can represent an extraordinary long-term financial advantage. You are only permitted to use this option once during your entire lifetime. And once again, the deadline is precisely 12 months from the date your entitlement began, not a single day beyond that. If this situation sounds like yours, look at your calendar right now. Strategy number 4, maximize survivor benefits by carefully timing who files first. This is the strategy I referenced at the very beginning of this video. The one that consistently produces the most shock, the one that financial planners bill for by the hour. And honestly, the one that carries the single greatest potential impact on a married couple's financial well-being over the long run. Here is the fundamental concept. When one spouse in a married couple passes away, the surviving partner gets to keep whichever of the two Social Security benefits is larger, but they permanently lose the smaller one. Both payments do not continue simultaneously. Only one survives, and it's the bigger of the two. The vast majority of couples never factor this into their planning. They each file based on their individual needs and their own convenient timing, without stopping to think carefully about what happens financially when one of them is eventually gone. But here is the actual strategy. The spouse with the higher earning history, the one entitled to the larger Social Security benefit, should delay filing for as long as reasonably possible, ideally all the way to age 70, because the benefit that gets locked in at 70 is ultimately the benefit that the surviving spouse will live on. Let me walk you through a concrete example. Let's say the husband's benefit at age 67 is $2,400 per month. If he waits until 70, that figure grows to approximately $3,000 per month. The wife's benefit sits at $1,400 per month, regardless of when she chooses to file. Scenario 1, husband files at 67. He receives $2,400. Wife receives $1,400. Total combined household income is $3,800 monthly. The husband passes away at 78. The wife keeps $2,400. She permanently loses $1,400 every month. Scenario 2, husband waits until 70. He receives $3,000. Wife still receives $1,400. Total combined household income is $4,400 monthly. The husband passes away at 78. The wife keeps $3,000. She still permanently loses $1,400 every month. The surviving wife in the second scenario has $600 more coming in each and every month for the remainder of her life. That's $7,200 more each year. Stretched across 15 years of widowhood, that figure exceeds $100,000 in additional lifetime income. This is not a complicated or elaborate strategy, but it does require one spouse to be willing to delay their own claim, sometimes for several years, specifically for the financial protection of the other. And it requires both partners to sit down and plan together as a unified team, not independently based on their own preferences. If you are married, have this conversation now. Have it before retirement begins, before either of you submits a claim. The decision about who files first and when can quite literally be one of the most consequential financial choices you ever make as a couple. Strategy number 5, review your earnings record for mistakes right now before it becomes too late to fix them. This final strategy is the most straightforward of everything we've covered today. It costs you nothing. It requires maybe 20 minutes of your time, and it has the potential to permanently increase your monthly Social Security payment for the rest of your life. Here's the underlying problem. Your Social Security benefit is calculated using your personal earnings history. The SSA examines your 35 highest earning working years and uses that data to determine what your monthly payment will be. But what happens if some of those years contain inaccurate information? Errors are more common than most people ever suspect. An employer submits payroll documentation incorrectly. A name change following marriage creates a record mismatch in the system. Self-employment earnings get reported inaccurately. A position you held early in your career doesn't appear in the system at all. These kinds of errors occur far more regularly than the average retiree would ever imagine. And here's the part that truly matters. If your earnings history contains mistakes, then your benefit calculation contains mistakes, which means your monthly payment is lower than it should rightfully be. And once you are already receiving benefits, going back to fix older errors becomes significantly more difficult, and in some cases, completely impossible. The solution is refreshingly simple. Go to ssa.gov and set up a My Social Security account if you haven't already done so. It's completely free to create. Once you are logged in, you can pull up your full earnings record and see every working year on file, along with exactly how much income was reported for each of those years. Go through every line carefully. Look for years when you know you were employed but the record shows nothing. Look for years where the income figure looks significantly lower than what you actually earned. Cross-reference everything against your own personal records, including old tax returns, W-2 forms, and pay stubs if you still have access to them. If you identify an error of any kind, contact the SSA right away and formally request a correction. Bring whatever supporting documentation you have available. Be patient and be persistent throughout the process. It does take time, but successfully correcting even 1 or 2 years of missing or underreported income can produce a meaningful and lasting increase in your monthly benefit amount. This is genuinely one of those rare situations where a small investment of your time can produce a real and lasting financial return that continues for decades. Please do not push this off to another day. So let's bring everything together. You now have 5 strategies in your possession that the Social Security Administration does not promote, that most financial advisors won't mention unless you specifically ask, and that the vast majority of retirees will never use for the simple reason that they never knew these options existed. Let me give you a quick summary so you can write each one down. Strategy number 1, the restricted application. If you were born on or before January 1st, 1954, and your spouse is already receiving their own benefits, you may have the ability to collect spousal benefits while your personal benefit continues growing until age 70. Call the SSA directly and request a restricted application using those precise words. Strategy number 2, voluntary suspension. If you've already started collecting but have not yet reached age 70, you can place your benefits on hold to accumulate delayed retirement credits and raise your future monthly payment. Strategy number 3, the 12-month do-over. If you filed recently and wish you had waited, you have exactly 12 months from your first entitlement date to withdraw your claim, repay everything you received, and refile later for a significantly higher benefit. Look at your calendar today without delay. Strategy number 4, survivor benefit timing. The higher earning spouse should postpone filing for as long as possible, ideally through age 70, because that becomes the survivor benefit the remaining spouse will collect. This single decision can be worth $100,000 or more across a lifetime. Strategy number 5, verify your earnings record. Visit ssa.gov. Log into your My Social Security account and carefully examine every year of your reported earnings history. Identify errors now while you still have time to correct them and protect your benefit. These 5 strategies are not classified secrets. They are not loopholes or shortcuts. They are genuine options that already exist within the Social Security system, options that are fully available to you at this very moment. The only thing separating the people who take advantage of them from those who don't is simply knowing they exist. And now you have that knowledge. If this video delivered real value to you, I would genuinely appreciate it if you passed it along to someone in your life who could benefit from it. A brother or sister, a close friend, a parent, anyone who is either approaching retirement or already living it. This information has the potential to meaningfully change how much money lands in their account every single month for the rest of their lives. And leave a comment down below. Tell me which one of these 5 strategies caught you completely off guard. I personally read through every comment, and I would truly love to hear your response. If you haven't subscribed yet, please take a moment to do that right now, because what I'm covering next week affects every married couple out there, and most don't discover it until it's already too late to do anything about it. It involves the financial consequences that hit surviving spouses the moment their partner passes away. It is one of the most important topics I have ever addressed on this channel, and you will not want to be without that information. Until then, take good care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one.